Greetings, screamers and lovers. We are here tonight to have a really good time and talk about some fun stuff. I am here with someone near and dear to my heart. Hey, hey, Kristie, how you doing?
Hey. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me. I'm super excited to talk
absolutely.
about this.
Me too. Me too. We have been talking about it all season. And what better way to sort of end the season two is for us to sit up here and talk about Interview with the Vampire, season two.
Yes.
As you know, when we get a chance to hang out, we have a drinking game. Tonight's drinking game, if you are watching in the comments, if you hear the word Lestat, which you will probably hear quite a bit, make sure that you pick up your beverage, whatever it might be, and take a sip with us. It's Monday, so we don't want to get too lit, but why not? It's the summertime. All right. We have finally made it to the end of the road for season two, and this has been an emotional journey for all of us.
Definitely. For sure.
Let's just sort of kick off and see where we left off. Season one, Jesus, it feels like literally hundreds of years ago.
Yes.
Season one, oh God, I don't even know. Season one ended with them killing Lestat. They ended up killing Lestat and they wanted to branch out. Cheers.
Cheers on my Sprite.
Mhm. They wanted to branch out and be their own people. So for everyone who remembers season one, we met Louis de Point de Lac. Oh God, we met him, and he was human in New Orleans, and he met the vampire Lestat de Leoncourt, and he seduced him, and they became this wonderful, powerful couple in New Orleans while killing and draining and making a mess everywhere. We meet Claudia. Now, Claudia, first season, keep me honest, she was played by. Do you know her name?
No, not off the top of my head. I
No, I got it. I
don't.
got it. I got it. Claudia was played by Madeline. No, that's not her. Bailey Bass for season one. And so going into season two, they already let us know that she will be recasted by a new actress named Delaney Haynes. And there was controversy because Claudia plays a very important part in this story, and especially for season two and the next part of the story they wanted to tell. And so, how did you feel about the recasting of Claudia?
Initially, I too was one of those people who were like, why? I mean, I know she had other things going on, but because her role was so integral to the story, I was just like, ugh, why are they doing this? But I think they did a really good job
Mhm.
in focusing on that aspect of their memory and how things might not be the way that they thought it was before. And so it kind of made sense, like
Mhm.
having that through line of what Louis remembers might not be exactly how Claudia is actually presented in the first season. So I thought that worked really well. It was pretty seamless. And now, after about what 3 episodes, I forgot she was even somebody else.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up memory. That was a theme that was brought up quite a bit throughout this season. As we know that Louis is recalling certain events that he's been going through, and as we know, with
Mhm.
time and memory in general, cannot always be trusted because it's always about your perception. I remember we chatted about the writing team and the directors talking about how this season, first season one, was all about Louis' perspective. In this perspective, season two, we get more of the truth of what Claudia experienced. So how Louis perceived her is going to be different from how Claudia or others may have perceived her herself. So recasting her
Mhm.
is not just switching out actresses; it's also giving you a different perspective of how she's visually being seen by herself and other people.
Yeah, I think to me, it worked very well for the overall story.
Oh yeah, I was actually sold. I was actually sold on episode one. I know a lot of it took people some time, but by the end of episode one, I didn't even really notice, and I don't even remember her. I'm looking at her picture now. I was like, oh, that's what she looks like. But
Yeah.
this girl, she came in here, Delaney. She came in here and earned her paycheck.
She definitely did. I loved her. I know we'll talk more about it, but her final episode was my
Uh,
absolute favorite episode. I mean, she killed that performance.
yeah, and you've seen the movie, right?
I did, yes. That
Okay, so
go
yeah,
ahead.
exactly. I didn't think I would be one of those guys who say they can recreate something that's better than the original visual media that we got. But honestly, this TV show is better than the movie.
It's way better, leagues ahead. I mean,
And
because I rewatched it. Because remember, I told you I was like, I don't really remember the story. Now I know you've read
mhm,
the books. I have
yeah.
not. So all I had to go off of was the movie, and I didn't really remember that. So I did. I didn't even finish it because I was like, this ain't got nothing on this show.
Oh yeah. I mean, you should definitely go back and watch it just because it's Brad Pitt, it's
Oh,
Tom Cruise,
ugh.
Antonio Banderas. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean,
I
as I
need
say
him.
it, I'm
I could
like,
be him.
yeah, we've seen a lot of things before. This show
Yeah,
just takes some different liberties in the text that's not there, but it's unspoken, and really expound upon it because the relationship between Louis and Lestat is in the text. It's just not in
there
that
you
first
go.
movie. It was the '90s. Oh yeah, you're right. Hmm.
That's a good
Mississippi.
point. The time period, the time that movie came out, and
Yeah,
now definitely matters in how they're able to portray that relationship for sure.
yeah, and even like I don't like this word when it comes to entertainment. People say woke, but I actually think making the Lestat no, ugh, Jesus,
Listen
get this.
at you. I'm gonna
Mm,
finish my drink for the end of this.
making Louis black and setting it, increasing the time period to New Orleans. That was brilliant. It was just so smart and relevant, and didn't take away from the story that you're trying to tell.
Absolutely. I'm really glad that they did that. I would like to know the thought process behind the choice though.
Mhm.
Like what made them say that this is what they wanted to do. But I absolutely enjoyed seeing this black perspective within this vampire world. But he's still dealing with things that black people would have to deal with in those times. But like
Yeah.
even in the season two, which we'll talk about later, but even in how they kind of had to move through that other country and know that they're
Mhm.
black, but still trying to speak German and all that kind of stuff. Like all that stuff was so well done. I just absolutely loved it.
You know what? I agree, and it's not the stuff that we. It's not like trauma porn. The stuff that we don't like. Yes, that played
Yes,
a part in their story, but it was not so dwelled upon to where it was just like it was really just a catalyst for why Louis would even want to be a vampire anyway, to escape this human.
that part.
Yeah, so it was a cool way to say make that offer more enticing from from
Exactly.
Daily Mr. Daily Encore.
There you go. He had the right
Uh,
one. He knew exactly what he was doing.
he did, and you know what? There was an episode this season where they talked about that seduction and how it actually was different from different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
like who seduced who. We'll get to
Yeah.
it, and they talk about it in stage play, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, we kicked off season one with a emotional. It just feels like season two is all about trauma and how do you come back from that trauma and how do you move forward and how do you come to grips with the things of the previous season. And I was nervous because we need some action going on. Like I don't want to sit here and watch y'all deal with y'all trauma and be sad. Because the first episode I thought was good, but I was like, okay, I get it.
I didn't feel like that. I mean, because you know me, I love story. And
Yeah,
so I was just so wrapped up in the story. But I did like when there was action.
yeah.
That last episode was like
My God.
crazy. It was so good. But I was also just super invested in the telling of the story too. So I didn't miss that early, parts not having any action. Um, it was all just good to me.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, as the show progressed, it was sort of things they did that I really appreciated. Like, is it time for? I like how they gave more light to Armand's character. That was a huge reveal at the end of season 1 that he was actually his companion and a vampire. I didn't know that was happening, but when he said his name, I was like, exactly. That was that was so smart.
Man, Armand was like, I don't know how to say it because I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, at the end of season 1, I was like, because I don't know, I didn't know the story. I don't remember the story. So to me, I was like, okay, it's good that he's found someone who can be good to him, right? Because it seemed like that's what he did. He
Yeah.
found someone to be good to him. And how you mentioned earlier about this emotional ride that we were on. This dude right here is the source of my emotional ride, my roller coaster throughout
Yes.
too. So I look forward to us talking about his ass because he took me through.
Oh, oh. Armand is played by Assad Zaman. And he is, I mean, I'm not going to say him versus Antonio Banderas because the story arcs are completely different, but he is nailing it. One of my favorite moments from this season was getting his backstory.
Yeah.
And I love how they, so in the show, everyone, they had a very famous picture that we've all seen before. I can't think of the name of it, but in the picture, it was just like, seems like a random character, a random person in the photo, but it was him, and it could have been him based off of what we saw in the illustration. And the fact that they tied all that in together to show how old he is and how powerful he is, I thought that was super dope.
Yeah. And you speak about how powerful he is, and he is, because we get to see some glimpses of just how powerful he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he's so warped in his mind. Like I don't even think is almost like he's muted by this tandem that
Ooh,
he goes back and forth with Louis. It's kind of diminished him a lot, but he
yeah,
is really powerful, and it's really sad to
yeah.
see him not being his full self throughout the show.
Ooh. Yeah, very true. And you know what? There is restraint. There's power in restraint, right? But
Yes, yes.
I remember when he first met Lestat, he was flexing all over the place in that episode. Remember, he was throwing
Yes.
him, he was teleporting, he was freezing everybody around. Um, Mr. Daly on Court was showing us.
It,
No, I mean Armand. Excuse me. Armand was showing us everything he had, and
yeah.
I really like this universe's vampires compared to other ones.
Mm,
Um, a lot of people don't like the pretty vampires. They like the more vicious looking animalistic vampires. I'm not one of those.
me neither.
They don't have to, yeah, they don't have to sparkle in the sun like Twilight, but I like them. They look really human. But their powers and how they explain their powers is so cool because sometimes they have like mind control. You see that. You may see flight,
Mhm.
but they have like elemental control, time control, control over fire, which normally kills them. So I just was like, they really tapped into like some lore of the universe this
Yeah.
season, which was nice to see.
I loved it. Like all about lore, and they gave us
Yeah.
plenty to work with in this,
Yes.
and I absolutely loved it.
We was
Season
eating.
one, yeah, we were eating. Season one gave us like glimpses of it, but only because it was such a contained story. Like we were
Hmm.
kind of focused just on those main characters, but in this one we got to see so much different dynamics amongst all these different vampires. So it was just
Mm.
really nice. I was just loving it, like you said, eating it all up.
Oh, um, let's see. So let's talk about the first 3 episodes. Episode 1, what can the damned really say to the damned? Louis recounts Claudia's quest to find old world vampires amidst the backdrop of World War II in Europe. You spoke about this earlier about them navigating being black in these spaces,
Mhm.
and how do you blend in and not be killed slash not have to kill everybody around you, actually.
Right.
That's what it was really about. But yeah, that first, and let's do the second episode too. Do you know what it means to be loved by death? These titles, they were just killing it.
I loved every single one. I was looking forward to seeing what each episode was going to be titled. Like, I feel like that was a part of the experience. I love the
Yeah.
titles for these episodes. And then I also liked to when we get the moment to actually hear them say the line in the
Yeah.
episode.
What did the damned really say to the damned? And you think about that episode, Claudia was on this journey to find something for herself because this whole show is a love story about Lestat and Louis and Claudia is, as you find out, is in the middle of all this drama and love, and all she wanted was to find community and to find her tribe. And we can all relate to that, right? We can all relate to wanting to
Absolutely.
find those groups of people that we see ourselves in and we can relate to. So you know the need to have that, but then also, but the betrayal behind that too that can come with that, that she will experience later on, that we'll get to. um in the first episode, I think we did we meet that vampire that was sort of wild and
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
that was
So
the one
they,
we found out in the woods.
yeah, they found these vampires in the woods and they attacked them. They attacked Louis and Claudia, and so they defended themselves and killed one of them. And they thought they made nice with the female vampire, but no, she wasn't really trying to hear it. She was trying to kill herself, honestly, if we can say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really sad episode too. Like
Mhm.
because of Claudia's need to have someone other than what she called them, these bastards.
Yeah,
Um and she finally finds somebody. She's hopeful. She's like, "Yeah, you can come back with us. You know, we can start our own little group of people." And she was like, "Oh, I can come to America." And she just unalives herself right there in front of her.
yeah, like you wasn't just talking about being okay, but you just played in my face, and now you
She
killed
put in
yourself.
her face, really.
Gosh, I really want to think about Claudia's perspective of this story because and then remember, she's still, even though she's 100 now, 70 something years old, she still is a young girl, and she's certain things she,
Mhm.
oh well, that may not be true, but she just wants to be loved and accepted and have her own people. And this season, that arc for her this season was very clear. And because I've read the books and I've seen the movie, I know how this arc ends for her. It's really heartbreaking.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I mean, I knew after talking to you, I'm not going back and watch the movie too, what was going to happen to her. But I think compared to the movie now, because like I said, I didn't read the books. Compared to the movie, her arc in this series was so much more beautiful to watch, and
Hmm,
like
hmm.
just seeing her kind of like battle with herself and all the outside forces, even when she for a moment felt accepted by these other vampires. Like she's holding on so hard to what's coming around the next opportunity for her. Like she was so
Yeah.
hopeful about the next thing. And like it was just really heartbreaking to see her not get her happily ever after. Even when she had a glimpse of it, like right there in her hands
Hmm.
for that one moment. Um, it made me really sad that once when they're all at the table and you're kind of like with her and she feels hope, like I found my person, my brother's found his person,
Yeah.
my brother dad has found his person,
Yeah.
and like they're happy, and then it's snatched right out from under
Ripped.
her. Ugh.
Yeah. It's just, and even the whole hazing part of, and we're not there yet, but like when we get into deep into season two, it's just okay. Episode 3 was simply titled "No Pain." Armand tells the history of the Theatre des Vampires, and Louis tells of his reluctance to join. So Louis is basically still on the rebound, and he doesn't want to be a part of anything. He just wants to live his
Mhm.
best life, be a photographer, figure out shit on his own in Paris. And Claudia is screaming for community and screaming for family, and she found it, and she's willing to be humiliated and hazed to be a part of this group of people who are in one sense pushing you forward publicly but tearing you down privately. And that type of betrayal is so heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah, it really was. Because these fools knew what it was from jump. When they saw her, they knew she was a broken law, and they still like you were saying earlier, played in her face. Like, why
Hmm.
did they do her like that. It was so just really heart
It's
wrenching to
mean.
watch.
It's
It was
yeah,
super mean.
yeah.
But yeah, the hazing was really bad. And like you said, her need and desire to just feel wanted was just so great. She was willing to put herself through whatever was necessary to have that. And it's really Louis and Lestat's fault because we got a drink. But it's their fault
Oh yeah.
that they set her up for failure.
It's just this hit me because it just hit me so hard because she had all these positive intentions
Yeah.
of being hey Bobby. It was a great scene, but I knew something terrible was going to happen at that dinner.
Ugh.
Oh, and that I have not processed my full thoughts on Armand yet, but we will get there.
Oh, he trash.
Yeah. Prior to today, we took a quiz to figure out which character from season 2 we are, and I think, and we held a secret from each other of which
I want to
character
know
we
what
are.
you got.
I want to know what you got. It's time for the great reveal. Oh, Daniel Malloy. I think a fun personal enrichment activity for you would be as follows. Every time your friends advise you not to do something for your own well-being and you do it anyway out of spite, put $1 in a jar. When you inevitably have a fuck ton of money, used to pay for therapy. They read you down, friend.
I know. I feel like that's so inaccurate though, because
Okay.
I feel like I would not do something if my friends advised me not to do it.
I believe that.
All right, let's see what you get.
Oh gosh.
See, I kind of felt like you was gonna get this.
Armand, you're probably the type to fill your days with hundreds of little distractions, either because you can't decide on just one or you desperately need lots of them to fill the void. You were either a drama nerd in school or one of the kids that really wanted to be a drama nerd, but thought they were too good for it.
Then they really read you.
They read me down. They definitely read me down. I am one to fill myself with a lot of different tasks.
Absolutely.
Yikes. Okay, my background is appropriate. Okay.
Hit the nail on the head.
It did. And you know what? On paper, he seemed like he would be a really good character to play, especially those moments when he is restraining himself from killing Daniel Malloy quite a bit, in my opinion, in the present, because then you be coming for my neck, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Armand just don't want nobody around
Louis. You can't break up what I've already set up, okay? We're not gonna tell y'all what that is yet, but you just can't mess up what I've already set up.
Right.
Let's see, episode 4. I want you more than anything in the world. The coven Armand's special relationship. Claudia finds a new friend. How did you feel when Claudia met the seamstress?
I was happy for her. Okay. I was hesitant at first, but I knew because the seamstress was obviously an outsider, and Claudia feels also like an outsider. I felt like, okay, this obviously is going to be somebody that she connects with. But I'm gonna be real. I didn't know that she was going to be cool with her being a vampire. So watching that play out, though, it was. I think it was good the way that they did this, because it was not like an instant thing. Like it took time for them to kind of like build up their friendship, and like we saw, her kind of like picking at her a little bit at her dress, and like. It was kind of like a weird interaction between them at first, kind of awkward. But then they started to kind of like trust each other and open up. It was like watching a flower bloom. I really liked it. I liked the way that they portrayed that relationship and watching it play out.
Yeah, it was a quick love story, and that could be platonic or romantic. I think it's all the above for them too.
I think so too.
And it was a quick way to do that I really appreciated, and I connected with her, and I knew who she was based off how much time that she was spending with Claudia. It's just I don't even know if you can call knowing this story spoilers because you know the source material, but my heart just broke almost every episode because I was like, this is going to be real bad. And little
Yeah.
do you know, the performances on top of what we already know just killed you.
Yeah.
Bobby said, Armand, he's giving Scorpio tea. He pissed me off.
Mine is trash. I'm
Armand is
telling
a very,
you.
now I have to take up for him. Okay. Armand is a very complex character with
No.
layers, and
No.
he's misunderstood because
It's trash. We're gonna talk about it. They deserve more, D. Yes, they did. They
hey,
absolutely deserve
D
more.
Prescott, yes, God. Yes, they did deserve more. Wait, who deserved more?
Claudia
Claudia and
and
Homegirl.
yeah, what's her name, Matt? What's her name, Matt?
Madeline, yeah.
Matt.
Why is all the Armand hate in the comments? I'm confused on what's going
I don't know why
on.
we're confused. Don't worry. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna
We'll
talk about
clear.
it.
You'll clear it up. You'll
We're
clear
gonna
it up
clear
for
it
you.
up. I don't know why. I know why. But that scene where oh, we haven't got to that yet, but eventually when they turn her, that's my favorite scene
Oh,
of
it's so romantic and sensual and respectful, and it. I love how I'm a fan of rituals and all those type of things. So even though this was like we don't know all the real steps, but
Mhm.
it felt sacred in a way.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
felt beautiful.
It
Oh,
was so
I'm getting
nice. I
thoughts to
loved
talk about
it.
later on. I'm actually getting a little emotional now that I'm recalling this entire season because I didn't get emotional watching it, but now that I'm recalling it, this is just
You
gaslighting one
can't
on.
help but be. You can't help but
Yeah,
be
it just
emotional.
it breaks my Claudia breaks my heart, and she broke my heart in the movie too. But this is a totally different character than what we got in the
Yeah.
movie. Wait a minute. There's a lot of Armand slander going
Let's
on.
see it. Let's see it. Put it up. Put it up.
Armand can go to hell. Now wait a minute.
Absolutely.
Now wait a minute.
Absolutely.
Bobby, trash.
Absolutely.
He's trash.
Trash. Yes, Bobby. See, Bobby, me and Bobby right here.
Me and Bobby were texting when watching it, and he enjoyed the finale too. Okay, so why y'all doing Armand? He is complicated. He was a slave. He was
I
sold in
complicated.
brothels. He has
Well, he should have gone
abandonment
to.
issues.
What your thing say? No, that was mine. That said about going to therapy, but Armand definitely needed therapy.
Baby, yes. And Daniel Malloy is trying to give him a whole handful of true tea, and he not ready. Okay, episode 5. Don't be afraid. Just start the tape. With Louis' help, Malloy delves into a haunted memory of his own. Listen, I remember this episode. This episode was when Louis, I mean, this is when he burned himself, I think.
Yes.
Oh God, now I'm thinking about the okay. Oof. Louis and Armand have now been together for 75 years. And in the backdrop, we know that Louis gets revenge for what happens to Claudia. And
Yes.
they don't really talk about it till later on. And they're trying to avoid it because it's a very sensitive and triggering topic to lose your sister baby. This is real
Yes.
Games of Thrones-ish.
It
And,
is, ain't it?
D. Prescott, Armand is a messy queen who could only secure a man through backstabbing and betrayal. He's trash, pretty boy, but trash. It seems like
Read him.
he did just. Now, let me tell you something, D. Prescott. You're not gonna come in here and read Armand for filth like that. Bobby
My
said,
Lord was like, we ain't about to do this today.
"Now I'm about to spill all of it." Actually, these
Yeah.
details are incorrect.
Oh, you thought we was done? Hold up. I got something for you.
He didn't direct. He didn't watch the play. He directed it. Oh God! Malloy spilled all his tea.
Yeah.
I was gagging myself. Malloy is. You
I
talking about
love
messy
Malloy.
queen? Malloy is a messy queen. He is messy boots.
I think he became messy. He wasn't like that at first, but when he remembered what old dude did to him,
Ooh.
which we're talking about right now, when he remembered this, he was like, "Oh no, we ain't playing fair no more."
No, there was a point in their history where Louis became still dealing with the trauma of Claudia and bored of Armand. He's such a snooze fest, as we find out in one of Louis' beautiful monologues. and let's add that to the list of beautiful monologues he do all season. That boy is talented. And I'm gonna say this now, and in the end of this show, if they don't have Emmy nominations, I'm gonna be blown away.
I would be too, because they served that episode. I think that was when we were both like, what they doing? Because this is art.
Art.
This was art.
Yeah.
With a capital T. That episode was just woo. It was TV.
It was TV, and you get this cool backstory that's not even fleshed out in the movies. You get this backstory of Lestat meeting Daniel Malloy, and when he's younger and getting ready to become the journalist he is now, and he sort of I don't know if he compels him, but he makes him just hang out with him. And I think this is the moment in the original movie that we got the experience. So he's just hanging out with Daniel Malloy and sharing his story. And Armand gets there and is not happy. And when you play with people's memories and mind wipe them and compel them to believe a certain story that you're pushing out, your narrative, sorry, Armand, that sort of makes you the villain.
Yeah, very much so. When that came out, I was like, what? Oh my God, my mind was blown.
I was like, Louis, don't do it. Please don't do it.
But and then you obviously can like see like the change in Louis, like from, when they were talking with the group of the vampires, and like the way he talks, like the swag he had.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have that no more. And no. I mean, I guess because he has been kind of like away from New Orleans and all that kind of stuff for years and years. But I feel like the way you talk, the way you are, like those things don't change that easily.
Yeah.
And I just feel like you can kind of see that Armand has kind of like shaped Louis into this other person.
That's exactly what happened. He's a muted version of himself. Exactly. Armand put that collar on him and fixed him real good.
Chucked him up.
Get your memory, and you're gonna be my good little calm boyfriend. Because the last time you were able to get loose, you almost drained Daniel Malloy. Can we talk about immortality and what it means to live forever to the point where you would rather commit suicide?
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine what that is like. And then just kind of carrying the weight of so much things. So obviously the biggest thing for Louis is the guilt that he has. And he absolutely loved Claudia so much that he was willing to just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm tired of pretending. Like, this is just not the life I want anymore. But I can't imagine knowing that you'll eternally carry some of the weight of that forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't imagine that. So I get it.
Yeah, and for those of us who understand grief and trauma and living with that, you know that it never goes away. It changes. You change, and how your relationship to that trauma changes. And to have an eternity to deal with that emptiness, and oh my God, let me write that down. Emptiness, and we get more of that. We get more of that later on in the show, especially when there's a scene where I hate to jump ahead, but there's a scene where Lestat in the production later on, he makes someone feel what his loneliness feels like. Yes. And I'm getting emotional now, just like
that was so powerful. Like, can you and like you could just tell from his face. And then he even said, man, like, you're terrible if you cause this man to feel like this.
You're horrible.
Yes.
And we've all had heartbreaks. We've all felt alone before, but we know that it's fleeting. And for them, it's not.
Yeah.
This is over in a lifetime. Bobby says, I love that picture. As much as I love vampires, I don't think I can be one. The lives you live can be amazing, but the amount of death you experience over and over. Yeah, it can be a lot to make you want to step into the sun and kill yourself.
Yeah. And we understand the significance of that weight and that decision in the last episode when Lestat asks him, did you try to hurt yourself?
Oh.
And just how heartbreaking I was like, oh,
Kristie, don't do this. But yeah, it was so heavy. Heavy because Lestat was being vulnerable. Heavy because
Yes.
let's go ahead and go there. If you've ever experienced personally or someone who has dealt with
Yes.
considering that option, you know how heartbreaking it is for someone to either tell you that don't do that, your life is valuable, or being that person to tell someone that. And having someone you love and care about consider leaving this world forever because of things that you may have played a part in. That's heartbreaking. So
Yeah.
Lestat conveyed that in that moment so beautifully.
So beautifully.
So
And
beautiful.
yes, knowing how that feels. I mean, I
Hey,
feel like this whole sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Knoxo Spades. Sam Reed's line, that's Lestat de Leoncourt. Line has always been on point, but that line made me
Yeah.
okay, so we are in collective. Like
Yes.
I wouldn't feel it in that moment, but like right now talking about it, I'm just like my heart is bleeding because that was too much.
Oh, I definitely felt it. Oh,
Yes, and have you ever loved
Jesus.
someone so much to where the thought of them even leaving you is breaking your heart and it's your fault? That's just it's so heavy.
And you don't understand why Armand is trash. And this Negro gonna say, "Oh, he did love you," and he acting it all like, cause he think he got Louis so messed up in the mouth in the head that he'll never, go back to Lestat or anything like that. He's like, "Oh, he did love you. Oh, I do know he loves you." Like, what kind of mess is that? Trash.
Armand is suffering from abandonment issues, and he need his man to stay with him. D said, "Baby, I cried so hard with that scene between Louis and Lestat, and the fact that the first time we see Lestat, my heart, oh,
Yeah. Even the way he was looking, good lord! Like
he's
all I
so
want to do is
broken.
wrap
He's
my
so
arms
broken.
around him. Like it's so right. Louis is home. He's home
He's home, temporary for a moment.
for a minute. Yeah,
Bobby, the feel for Lestat this episode. I cried at the end. The monologue.
serves.
We are all storytellers and we love good pen on paper and writing. They
Yeah,
ate. They
man, the
ate
writing
this
in
whole
this show is
season.
just
Oh my
top
God.
notch. Top
Top notch.
notch.
And the fact that Lestat was worried sick for 50.
Yes, he remembered the exact time and day. He knew exactly what Armand called him about Louis. Like, oh, I can't take
This
it.
sounds better than the movie in the 90s. Is this on HBO Max? No, this is actually on AMC, which you can get through Prime.
And it is better than the movie.
It's not just better, it's damn better than the movie.
Yes.
Because all the other scenes were memories of Lestat, but this was the real Lestat. I was shook, hurt, crying.
Yeah.
I have a delayed reaction to emotions most of the times. So right now, this is really heavy. But
Yeah.
um, okay, episode 6. We're moving.
6. Yeah.
Light the light by which God made the world before he made light. Claudia asked Louis for life, changing fate. Before we go there, let's go to the episode before. When we find out that Claudia is now headlining a show for
Over
the
and over and over and over and over again.
for the Theater des Vampires. She is the star, and she is playing this immortal, not immortal in the sense of the character, but continuously playing this character of a child who, in essence, commits suicide by accident. Um, Bless her heart.
Yes.
I'm
I felt
all
for her.
for a good haze. I'm all for, bringing people in and testing them and making them stronger. But the fact that it wasn't about making her stronger, it was about to humiliate her and tear her down.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Mm-hmm.
have a thing about presenting something as it is and it not being what it actually is. So I was
Exactly.
triggered extremely by Claudia smiling and cleaning and performing just so she can wear the same ass dress and become
Mm-hmm.
a part of
All
this.
the time.
Yes,
Because Armand's trash
he's
ass
trash. He could have
made her
stopped.
wear it even when she wasn't performing.
Yep.
he was just I can't stand him.
I want y'all to slow down on Armand just a little bit, okay?
No,
Because
because
everybody has a reason for things. And I'm only defending him because that's my quiz results for that.
he is
Poor Claudia, yeah.
he okay. Well, listen, he also he's jealous of the relationship that they have because
Yeah,
um when Louis asked Armand to change Madeline for Claudia, he was like, "You'll have me all to yourself. You don't have to." Like that was his
selling point.
enticing statement. Yeah, because even he know that he was jealous of her. He
The-
trapped it.
I mean, to be fair, the word of this show is toxic because every relationship, except for Claudia and Madeline, actually,
They were
was
so cute.
toxic. They were so cute. That was just toxic. So she did this play, and I thought the play was fun to watch, but picking on someone like that is just not okay. And
Mhm.
in another life, I probably would have had another viewpoint on that. But however, it just breaks my heart to see her go through that. So you brought up something earlier about the transition of Madeline and how no one really knew how to do it. And I said the ritual side of it, and it just felt so sacred for them.
Mhm.
It's like marriage. It's almost like a ceremony
Well,
to
it's kind
connect.
of like a marriage because I
Yeah.
mean they're kind of joining together, and I think maybe Madeline recognized that too in her inviting Claudia to join in. Because at first she wasn't, right? But she was like, I want you to be a part of this. And I just thought that was just like, ugh, so,
Hmm.
hit my heart. But it is kind of like a marriage because even, he still they're connected. They're all connected in that moment. So it's kind of like a marriage.
And we got hold on. We got a glint connection. Let me write that down. Connection. Okay. All right. We got a glimpse into that in the later episodes when Lestat talks about what he's been dealing with over these years and can't get her face out of my head. And he can't stop seeing Claudia. And I'm just like, the connection is real.
Mm-hmm.
And in most vampires lore, there's a sire bond that you have and you connected, and most sires can feel in this world, they call them fledglings. They can feel their fledglings and know where they are and all those things. And the fact that it's from this show or another show, someone mentioned, in one of Louis' monologues, he said, "It's I knew she was dead. I knew it, just like if I didn't have an arm or my
Mm-hmm.
heart wasn't beating."
Yeah,
Ooh, the pen is just stupid on this show.
it really is.
It's just stupid. But Louis was just letting us know what it feels like to lose someone so close to you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
have you seen a TV show, or in the comments, have y'all seen a TV show called Sense8?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Sense8, and it matters, but Sense8 was a really good Netflix show, and I think it had 2 or 3 seasons, maybe two in the holiday special. And it's about these people who were all born at the same time, and it's 8 of them, and it's 8 in each little cluster, and they can all connect it psychically to each other. So
Mm-hmm.
their emotions, their feelings, if they're scared, also their skills. So if I'm being jumped and you have kung fu ability, I can sort of sense you can sort of take over, and I will be able to fight my way out of it. They
Mm-hmm.
describe when one of them in their cluster is murdered, like imagine someone you've been with from the beginning being killed or no longer
Mm-hmm.
there, right? So they it's right, Bobby, it's incredible. So they depict this loneliness or this absence of this person in your life in such a way that it's frightening. And that's what I got from Louis talking about Claudia,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that she was gone, almost like phantom limb syndrome. Like
Mm-hmm.
you get your arm cut off and you don't really notice it, you still feel like it's there. But he didn't feel that. He felt her gone.
Mm-hmm.
We just jumping all over because I mean
I
that's
know.
I know, but
Mm.
okay. So the ritual, they drain Madeline. So for what we understand, you drain the vampire,
Yes.
and then they drink your blood,
Mm-hmm.
and they become a vampire.
Yeah.
I like that how to do these things are sacred.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it's secret and it's contained in each of, I guess, should be something passed down from your maker, but apparently Lestat didn't teach um, Louis and Claudia shit because he told
No.
Bond, I don't know shit about breaking no laws.
They ain't tell me nothing about this. Boss, I ain't read no book.
What law? I ain't do nothing. What you talking about? Um, in that episode, they also talk about the, or was that? Anyway, let's talk about the making of Claudia from Lestat's perspective. Because in
Ooh.
this season, we got, I guess, the true, what Louis says, the true version of what happens. And Lestat, I mean, Louis, toxic as hell,
Yeah.
um, forced him, if you give me a baby, we'll be a happy family.
Mm-hmm.
If we have kids, if we do, we'll be happy. I promise.
Yeah.
I love you forever if you just give me a
He
baby.
did.
He laid it on thick, babe.
He really did. And I like how she was like, is he telling the truth? And he's like, no, it's a lie. And he still lied.
He lied
Like,
and lying and lying.
I
But
just felt, and also for her, to know, I know she knew that he was lying, but because I feel like Claudia knows Louis enough to know when he's lying. Um, but yeah, like to know that all this time she's been fed lies. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that all those things that she had felt or been told from Louis' perspective kind of like formulated her drive to be how she was and how
absolutely,
she views Lestat. Like she hates that man.
dude, dude, Daddy Lestat, you treat my other daddy real bad, and we don't like that.
So that was crazy.
Niece says sound better than True Blood. I don't know if I would say it was better than True Blood. The writing is better than True
The
Blood.
writing is definitely better than True
They're
Blood.
two different shows. See,
They
for
are.
me, it's like this show is a drama with the backdrop of vampires and this beautiful story of the supernatural, where True Blood is about the supernaturals completely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about the action, and it's about the witches, and it's about
Mm-hmm.
the shapeshifters. It's about all those cool elements, and this universe has that too. But thematically, it's about it's a drama. It's a love story, really,
Yeah.
and a love story with yourself, with a potential partner, with forgiving yourself. This show checks so many boxes of categories that it successfully conveys. It's ridiculous.
I agree.
I don't know
Really
nothing about
does.
Birth of No Baby, no vampire. Well, no, none of them did apparently because they didn't know how to even create Madeline.
Well,
But
I'm
they
glad
did.
they got it right for a little bit.
They did. They did. But before we get into Madeline's transformation, there was this. Remember how Louis was holding Claudia when she was that burned victim and about to die, and he was just holding like a little rag doll,
Yeah.
like she was just an item.
He was
He brought her
holding
ass.
her.
Like, come here.
I mean, the visuals in this across the board is crazy. But yeah, you're right. That's exactly how he was treating her. Like she wasn't really a person.
Yeah.
Now that you bring that up, I didn't even really think about it like that. But he was like, so he was begging with all his might.
He's like, here. I want you to fix this and make it good for us, and I will be good to you forever. Forever. Pamela, hey Pam, thanks for stopping by.
Hello.
AMC is sending Interview with the Vampire to Netflix soon, so more exposure, more fans. That's what we
Isn't it
want.
wild? Like Netflix is like exposure. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like because like Evil is one of my favorite shows, but people didn't start watching it until the first 2 seasons hit Netflix. I just think that's funny.
I mean, but think about it. These shows, like we were talking pre-show about where can you find it. If you don't have AMC, then you're shot.
Yes.
And for those who don't have AMC, honestly, for me, it's worth the subscription because I like to watch. I'm going to watch stuff, so I need these subscriptions. Okay, so
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, I only get it before this show came on because I know Mayfair Witches was first, but I didn't watch that. I only got this because AMC because I only got AMC because through Prime you can get it with Shudder, and I watch
Yes.
Shudder a lot more.
Yeah.
So that's mainly why I even have AMC. So I mean, I didn't intentionally go get it.
You know what? Prime is the G for this because I have like Stars and AMC and Shudder. All that's through Prime.
Mm-hmm.
But AMC have so many good
I'm gonna
shows.
try. I'm gonna check it out.
From season 1 through 2 is on there.
From is on AMC. Yes,
and it's bomb. It was on MGM, but they consolidated with AMC. Brilliant, good job.
That was a good idea.
They have this show called Chapelwaite, which is also a vampire-esque story. Mm-hmm. It's a period piece. So if you like those combinations, check it out. It's a fun ride. It's nice. What else did I watch on there? And Mayfair Witches. I watched that. Definitely nothing you should watch weekly. You should just wait till the season. Go binge it then. It's worth a binge.
I'm gonna watch it.
And then soon
after I watch all the other stuff I gotta watch. Thousands of things. Yeah, I watched From. Okay. We did me and AJ did a weekly recap on it last season.
Ooh, okay. Mm-hmm. The Talamasca, which is the organization that we've got to see more of this season. Hey, and they are actually a big part in Mayfair Witches, but we get to see the Talamasca in a different way in this show. The Talamasca, for those who've seen other shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they're like the Watchers Council. Mm-hmm. They're like the organization who I'm sure is corrupt, who has all the secrets, keep all the secrets, and all the supernaturals either are captive or work there or killed. So that's a summary of the Talamasca. They have their own book. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Sam.
They have their own show coming out too, and of course they have their own book. So we're excited.
Very.
Nick says, excited. I'm a hacker, but this is a Black show, and I support my people, so I'm going to get the subscription.
No, I know that's right. Sometimes you gotta hack.
Sometimes you gotta tap into the matrix. You gotta get into the matrix, okay, and get in there.
Yes,
I'm good with finding me.
Now, I don't know if they still have it active or not, but I know that they had a code specifically for Interview with the Vampire that you could get 30 days of AMC for free. I'm not sure if it's still active though, but I know they had that.
30 days is a sickening amount of time on AMC to have some fun.
Yes.
You spend 2 weeks of that time and you can watch all the good stuff. We are down to our last 2 episodes, but before we touch on those, we're going to take a quick little commercial break, and we will be right back. And that is Psycho Killer Card Game. If you like Clue, if you like murder mysteries, which if you're watching this station, I'm pretty sure that you do. Check them out on Instagram. It is Killer Card Game on Instagram. And you can find them. As usual, I don't have it by my desk to show you the game, but they were so awesome. They sent me a copy of the game, played it. It's fun. It's Clue, but more of a focus on slashers, if you like slashers. All right. The final 2 episodes. Before we get there, before we get to this conclusion, have we touched on any small parts of the season? And help us out in the comments if you remember moments before the final 2 episodes, because we can say the last 2 episodes are 1 episode for me. Are there any episodes that stood out to you, or moments, Kristie, that stood out to you that were just great that we haven't talked about?
I think the scene of Armand kind of like torturing Daniel, that was crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, because I mean, obviously Daniel's coming into this situation where, first of all, he didn't really believe Louis in the beginning, right? So once he kind of like gave him some kind of inclination that, okay, this is real, but I don't think he actually understood just how powerful these people were until he, number one, got attacked, and
Mhm.
number two, see, having Armand control him the way he did.
I loved it.
And I know it was good to see him,
Flex.
Armand, yes, see him flex his power, like literally just flicking his fingers, you know?
Mhm.
Like I liked seeing that, but obviously he's still trash. Let's not get it twisted.
Armand, I'm trying to fight for you, buddy, but you making it real. And we
No.
haven't got to the last two episodes. I'm gonna get red for the last two. I already know. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, seeing
Um,
that scene was just really crazy.
that's why I think another reason I liked his character. I liked his character so much because he was just so graceful and poised. How he used his abilities. I loved how he did that versus being all angry and trying to, showing all these other emotions. It's really about I am simply just throwing you up to the ceiling and dropping you
Yeah.
down. I am
Yeah.
holding you in place, picking you up off the ground, and erasing your memory because I can.
Yeah. And then also we see just how broken and effed up he really is because he's like, what's so special about you? You know, like, why do you have his attention right now and I don't? And
Jealous.
jealous. Oh my gosh. And just, I don't know, seeing Armand's like response. Like, who was it? Was it, I can't remember who it was now, that told Daniel to watch out for Louis, basically. You think it's Armand that's the problem, but it's really Louis. But I think Louis is coming off of what he experienced with Lestat in his mind anyway. Like he had to be the one with the upper hand. He didn't no longer want him to be the person that was like under. And like so we see him like when he came to see him at the theater house, and he was like, "Take your pants off," and like he was getting really aggressive with
Absolutely,
him,
absolutely, yeah.
like you gonna lay down type of thing. Like I'm gonna take it whether or not
I
you gonna
mean,
be
so
with
get
it or
ready.
not.
Yeah, and every time sometimes you need that type of aggression, when you've been arguing and you've been mad at each other and you haven't connected and I think it's boring. Sometimes you just gotta spice up and be real ratchet for a moment.
he was getting there.
Come on, Louis.
And then we see that again when they're at the park bench, and he calls him Matri because he's like giving him the power. I'm giving you the power now.
Yeah.
So
I love
that's
that.
just
I
been
love
crazy.
him, how our mom became so submissive, but he has all the power.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. And that has to do with his attachment style. And per therapy, he has a very poor attachment style.
Very poor.
I mean, think about his make. I mean, based off his background, it's very understandable why. And then you definitely connected with Louis, and you connected with Lestat. I just feel like this circle of passing each other around is toxic, and we all should either just all be together or just separate.
No, Armand does not get to be here. No,
he don't get no flowers.
No.
One of my favorite moments was when Louis and Armand was, I think it's episode 1 or 2, possibly 2, when the Theater de Vampire were going hunting, and they went to these rich people's houses, and Louis and Armand were just outside chatting. Like the show, the cinematography and the framing of that scene is beautiful.
Yes.
All this.
And the sound, because you hear them screaming and they're just talking.
I say this, and I'm going to say it again later on. All this chaos in the backdrop is the backdrop to this beautiful conversation and this beautiful moment of getting to know each other. And Ricky said, "No throuple for Armand."
Definitely not.
And by the time we get to episode 8, I'm probably going to be the same, like Armand, bruh.
I see you taking your time to get there.
I am taking my time because he is a very complex and layered character who's been through a lot. And y'all
they all are. I think that's what this show does, right? It shows us just how complex all of them are, because they're immortal, right? Like, so it's very hard for them to be very like linear. Like they're gonna
Oh
have
yeah,
some different layers.
yeah. That's very true because, and Bobby said it earlier in the chat. Immortality seems like such a gift, but Louis
Right.
said he dealt with a curse. But you understand that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it sounds cool to have these powers. And don't get me wrong, right? If the opportunity presented itself at a certain point in my time, maybe I would consider it. Like Louis said,
I would.
I always end up at the church, at the altar with Lestat. I was like, okay, I can't avoid it any longer. Okay. Episode 7, I cannot prevent it. Louis and Claudia are put on trial. So prior to this, we talked about this beautiful moment when Madeline?
What is her name? I'm
Hold
calling
on,
her Madeline, but y'all don't remember her name.
hold on. Let me get this right. Madeline. Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay.
So Madeline was just turned and she's gorge. She looks
She
great.
is. Oh my gosh, I
The
love her
eyes are
eyes.
eyeing.
Oh, she is.
Okay. Face is
Okay,
snatched.
before I'm sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off. Before we get to that, the conversation she had with Armand, and she was carving that damn apple.
These hoes don't stop writing it. I mean, can we just sit in the writing room and just watch?
That scene, it
She
was
stood on
so
her business.
good. It was so good.
One
She
thing
knew,
about Madeline, she
yes.
stands on business.
She stood on business. She's
Every
like,
time
look,
she had a
I
moment.
know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I want. And I want to be with Claudia.
The end.
Whatever comes will come.
Yeah.
I was just like, ugh.
And Armand is like, I liked Armand in this moment because he was like, you're saying you want this, but you cannot possibly contextualize what this gift is. So what I'm trying to do is give you as much as I can possibly give you that you can understand so you make the best decision. And
Mm-hmm.
she found her person, which is all
Yes.
we all want, right? She found her
Mm-hmm.
person, her tribe, and she's like, well, shit, I don't have nothing else. This is it. This is what I
This
want.
is it. Also knowing her story and all the bullshit she went through, like, and that's why it makes it so heartbreaking how
Mm.
things ended for them. And I'm about to cry because it was not fair.
It's not right. It's not right at all. Um, Armand uses his time gift and freezes a restaurant to allow Santiago, which was perfectly casted as Draco Malfoy's father.
Heck yes.
He was
That was the
nasty work this
perfect
season
casting.
too. Mm-hmm.
Because he trashed too.
He he's trashing Harry Potter. He's
Trashing
trashing
your
this.
father.
But the actor's range is dumb. Even though the roles
Yeah.
were similar, he had so many different variances in his performance in this show alone. And hell,
Yes,
this
I
episode,
loved him in this. Yes. I feel like in Harry Potter, he was very like
one note, yeah.
one. Yeah. But in this, so dynamic. I mean, when he
I
did
mean,
his stuff on stage, I was like,
he's
you watching
nasty.
a whole nother show.
Yeah. And not to get emotional again, but he was trying to connect with Claudia, but
He
he really
did.
was just trying to get her journals and
Mhm.
read her mind and figure out. So the issue is not only that Claudia was created, but they knew that they killed their maker,
Mhm.
which is Lestat.
Yeah.
At this point, we know Lestat to be dead. And this entire season isn't really them figuring it out, it's them confirming.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, think about the dining room scene when Santiago voice mimicked Louis.
That was so crazy.
Ooh, that scene was good.
I love that scene when Louis didn't play. Okay, he's like,
Louis
you
about to
forgot where
snatch
I'm
his
from.
face off. What's up?
You forgot where I'm from. I'm about to show you.
He's still a Nola boy, baby.
I'm still Nola
Yeah, sauce passe.
boy. But it was
Pamela,
good.
yes, Madeline recognized the woman inside Claudia, not just the shell. It was what made the so.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I love that.
I'm gonna keep repeating this. If you ever know what it's like to not be seen and to finally be seen,
Mm-hmm.
and this moment that's about to happen is gonna happen, this is
Yeah.
heartbreaking. So you said it perfectly. Everyone was happy. We're eating good. We're drinking good.
Mm-hmm.
She's a fresh new vamp, looking good with her new friend,
Okay,
boo,
she was
whatever
fly,
it's gonna be.
honey.
Armand is sitting there that whole fucking time.
Ragged.
He went outside to have a smoke, I think, all for Santiago to swish his ass inside of there. And they kidnapped Louis, Madeline, and Claudia. My heart was beating.
Child. The
Even
moment you saw Louis' face change, his eyes went right to Claudia. I was just like, ugh.
And the cinematography of the bag, seeing their perspective of having the bag over their head.
Yeah.
It was just so much in that in the first part of this finale. That's what I'll say. The first part of this finale, when they got kidnapped and the trial. Let's just talk about how they were presented for this trial. And anyone who's done stage, you just don't get up and set up a stage show and go forward. This, as we find out, was practiced, planned, and everyone was involved. Not just complicit, but involved. They cut their tendons so deep that they couldn't heal back quickly enough for them to defend themselves. We got a new ability of collective mind trauma.
That was really cool to see on screen. Like the vibration, and that was really neat. I like that.
When you think about picking special effects for moments, that was a cool special effect that they gave us that felt practical, but it made me feel like and the sound effect, the ringing, made me feel like this pressure is real for them, especially how turned up Louis can be. He was subdued in this moment. The stage play honestly was very entertaining. I will give it. They did a really good job. Santiago was so flamboyant and so delicious in this moment because he is emceeing this trial or / execution to the fullest.
I loved it. Every second of his performance was just it was just so over the top
grand,
and just so grand.
And there was a moment when Bobby said snakes. He is sick. He's sick of them too. The vampires. The theater de vampire. He was just so flamboyant, and I loved his presentation, and it was just so good and pissed me off. One moment I liked was when finally Lestat comes out, and this is the first time us realizing he was alive. We didn't know he was alive at all. So Lestat is out here, grand as ever, looking good, fresh, hair blowed out recently.
Beautiful, honey.
He probably just fed. Okay.
He was glowing.
He was glowing. He looked great. And so it was so cool. Not cool. It was so nice to see him on stage. There was a moment when he wouldn't comply. And you think his not complying is him being Lestat. Him being, you can't tell me what to do. But really, he was having emotional breaks in those moments.
Yeah.
And we find this out later. Sorry to jump ahead, but we find out that he's really just having these emotional breaks of what he's actually being complicit to doing.
And I was just so, I think I texted you about this particular, because, season 1 gave us such a bad taste in our mouth when it came to Lestat. And so seeing him in this episode was kind of like, maybe I'm wrong about him. But it comes back to the point earlier about how complex they are, right? Like, he can still be that Lestat and be this Lestat.
Yes.
And so, but seeing him in this particular light, it was just like, like seeing his emotions and knowing how he really feels. And then, later on in the episode 8, how he truly felt about watching Claudia meet her end. Like, transcendent is the best word I can use to explain that.
Don't know who's not watching this. I don't know. But y'all, every actor on the stage, big, small, no lines, are monsters in this story, literal and figuratively. And I'm speaking of their ability to act. Claudia in this trial was not having it. She got more fight in her than probably Killed it.
am so glad whoever wrote this particular episode that they showed her the way they showed her, portrayed her the way they portrayed her, because she went out like a queen to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And she got, I feel like, this whole journey of her coming into her own. In this episode, we saw her being who she really is and who
Mm-hmm.
she was fighting to become. Even though it was the end of it, it was still beautiful to see that she was able to be true to who she was in those final moments. Like, I just don't want to talk about it no more. Go
She
ahead.
stole the show. But you know what really is getting me now, and I did remember loving this moment in the show. Madeline had the opportunity to live. She had a
I
chance to
know.
work for the theater they're
I'll
gonna
take
do.
it.
I'm sorry. And she was like, join our coven of vampires. She was like, my coven is Claudia.
My coven is Claudia. God, I can't take it on.
Have you ever felt like someone loved
Oh,
you that much?
oh my
If you
God.
have, Claudia in that moment was great, but to declare that in front of this
Yes.
situations, Madeline stands on business every time.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
She stood on business in that moment yet again. Like, yeah, I hear what y'all saying. I'm not going to be hazed and scrub these grounds like my baby did.
Yes,
On business.
did.
I'm so glad someone finally put Clyde. Absolutely.
Yes.
And what
She really
absolutely
is. She
she is.
really
And
is.
that's how you close her arc out versus the story. The movie, you
Yeah.
didn't get that. The movie didn't give you
Mm-mm.
that much. You knew she was important, but you felt in the movie that Claudia, she was just a doll for Claudia, like
Mm-hmm.
Claudia was for Louis and Lestat.
Mm-hmm.
In this, she found her person. She
She
found her
did.
tribe. She found her coven of one. And you know how difficult that be. That's difficult, and we're not immortal. But imagine being
Mm-hmm.
immortal and having to search for love and companionship, and not being deluded with.
Finally get it, and it's taken instantly. Literally instantly. Mm.
I want to talk about Claudia's final look. Rent niece. Whew, I feel like Claudia accepted what was happening,
She did.
but your parents, in most, even in the most toxic relationships you can have with your parents, on a base level, you know that they are there to save you
Mm-hmm.
or preserve you or care for you. And her look at Lestat was very much so like, I'm good, but if you got anything to save me, this is the time for you to do it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking to you, Daddy Lestat, to save me. And she didn't seem like vulnerable and weak in that moment. She felt like this is the time for you to save me, Lestat.
Mm-hmm. I don't even like this scene.
Yeah, Claudia went out, and let's do it. Claudia and Madeline went out. They stood on business.
They did.
Um, More world building to how vampires work. Madeline was a fledgling, a young one, so she burned first. She
Mm-hmm.
couldn't withstand it, and Claudia was able to hold on a little bit longer, and she didn't even scream that much until the end, which
Mm-mm.
that by itself was enough. But before she died, she made a proclamation and a promise.
Loved it.
She said, "You could you take off your hat? I've
I
seen
loved
every
it.
one of y'all hoes in this building,
Yes. I'm coming
and
for you.
I'm coming for you. I'm going to haunt every last one of you, and if I can't do it, I'm going to figure out how."
Yeah.
And the fact that she actually did that to Louis and Lestat,
Yeah.
um, episode 8.
Dun, dun, dun.
Uh, and that's the end of it. There's nothing else. Malloy questions the fiery fallout of Louis and Claudia's trial. So we're excited. We seen Louis. If you've seen the movie and read the books, you know Louis about to bust up out of here.
Yeah.
Armand saves him. Antonio Banderas saved Brad Pitt in the movie, so we know what's happening. Okay, they just
Yeah.
wasn't lovers. And Louis gets out, and in hallucination, um, in this moment, he was figuring out a plan of how to get his revenge. And he
Get it,
seemed,
baby.
yes, he seemed insane in that moment. He seemed not all there, but he was, I think both. I think he was
I think so.
all the things. He said his
Mhm.
rage is what helped him in
Yeah.
this moment. Um, I know the answer, but I have to ask it. Do you think that he was just in his actions to the theater de Vampire?
Absolutely.
What about
Hands
in the
down.
comments? Was Louis right? Was he okay? Was he to get revenge from Madeline and Claudia, or was he perpetuating more trauma and trash behavior? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, if it would have been me, it's going down. We lighten
Yeah.
up all of it, all of it. It's not even a question, honestly. As soon as I'm out of this box and I feed a few times,
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it
He's
out.
very just. And I absolutely love seeing rage on Louis. Like he
Mm-hmm,
played no games. Okay. Hair
mm-hmm.
wild, dirty face. He didn't give no S. He went out there and burnt them bitches up. And I really liked how he got Santiago cut his head off. That's
Save
just
that hope for last.
it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And he was in charge of the coven now, so you couldn't tell him shit.
Yeah, he really thought he was the shit.
But when he tried to reach out to Celeste and the other girl telepathically and nobody answered,
No longer home, boo. They gone.
bye bye, bye bye.
And then
But
obviously he goes and finds trash and he listens to what he has to say because in episode 7, we are assuming that he helped save Louis'
oh
life.
yes, oh yes. Armand used his telepathy to compel the entire audience to have, instead of Louis dying, he was compelled to banishment.
To banishment.
Perception. This season is all about fucking perception.
Yes, because they showed us what we assume what Louis saw, which was him struggling
Mm-hmm.
to to contain all these people's minds and to say the word banishment. But that ain't what really happened.
And I was actually shocked at that choice that they did, which is great. Um, Daniel Malloy was the MVP in this episode because he was like, let me pull all this to you out. So one, Lestat could command control a group of people. These notes from this script don't show that Armand is just chilling. He's directing this.
Right. Because he told Louis that he was there, but when they were practicing, he wasn't actually on stage or anything. He was in his coffin when Lestat was there doing his practicing.
Liar.
So he
Liar.
lied.
He was there the whole time. And not only did he lie about being there, we find out in episode 8 that Lestat saved Louis, and he took credit for it over 75 years, lying, manipulating, and gaslighting Louis to believe this.
TRASH. Trash.
Trash. And I don't support domestic violence, right? And I don't believe in any of that.
Oh, he lit that tail up.
Baby, we didn't see it. We saw the aftermath of it because we were worried about Daniel Malloy getting out this building, okay? Because we didn't know what was happening. But when Louis found out the truth about what Armand did over these years, he threw his ass into. I don't know what he did to him. This is a concrete wall with a huge dent in it, and Armand was on the ground.
But I liked him in that scene, right? Because obviously he could have done way more damage. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
He could have done way more damage. He was like, look, I'm leaving, but when I get back, you better be gone. I don't want to see you no more.
Get your shit, get your shit, and get out. He meant that.
You better call Tyrone because he better get up out of here.
He told him to get his things and leave and call Tyrone. And Louis went for a nice little ride.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm disappointed with Armand because I get the need to be wanted and I get the need to not lose someone. But do you have to manipulate someone to stay with you? And if you do, then they're not really there for you.
They don't, right? Like, why would you want to be with someone that you have to do that level of manipulation to have? Like, you can have anybody.
Yeah.
Like, go find somebody that wants you the way you want them.
No,
it's
you lied
terrible.
to him. You trapped him.
Yeah, let's just take the story out of it. Out of it. Why would you want to be with someone who was with someone that you were with for years and years and years? I wouldn't want to be with somebody that was with somebody I used to be with.
That's probably a game. Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in that. I don't want to share the. I mean, we're immortal, so maybe it's bound that we will pass each other around, but no, I don't want it. It's too much baggage. It's too much baggage.
Way too much.
Some people can read each other's minds. Some people's minds are protected. It's just like, oh, I meant to ask you earlier, when do you think they knew that they were full of shit and they killed Lestat and they wasn't from Chicago, they was from New York?
Oh, they probably knew that from Gate because because they were always like picking up things like you were saying, trying to figure out stuff like, oh, where your accent doesn't sound like it's from here, or they were constantly trying to come up with something. Yeah, so I feel like they already knew that.
Yeah, they were just playing a long game. And Armand knew. Oh my God! In episode 8, he asked Armand, "How long were you lying to me?" I was pissed. You mean you would come and lay in my bed and then go back to rehearsal?
That part. He was like, you were spending nights with me, knowing what you were doing. That's trifling.
As AF. And not only that, you didn't plan to save. You wasn't going to save me. I was going to die.
That part. You were supposed to die. That's what Daniel said. You were not supposed to live. Like, you were really going to sit there and let me die.
And you should be more powerful than anyone in this building. You are
That's another part that I don't get.
But why though? It's the why. Armand, what are you afraid of losing more than Louis to let him die on this stage? Your coven?
Well, like he was saying, he was like, oh, my coven in 200 years or Louis. Do you love Louis or do you love your coven? Like, I'm confused.
Your coven's already ousted you, sweets.
I think he was just so heavy on the acceptance and
all of that.
Because he really probably didn't know what to do, honestly, clearly.
And that's complex. I get it.
It is complex. But when it comes down to it, we know what real love looked like. Because redhead ma'am was like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna ride and die for my boo.
Yeah.
Armand is not there.
I can only push out one of these protections. And Claudia, I'm sorry, it has to be Lestat. I mean Louis.
Look, yes.
I get it. That's his boo. I get it. Like,
I get it too. It's just so much. But when he realized, I think that's probably why he didn't come for Armand the way he could have come for him. Because I'm thinking, like, what could have caused him to show restraint in that moment? Because I would have killed him. He would be dead. Armand would be dead. Sorry. But I think because he had realized, okay, this is not me. Like, this is not who I am. This is not where I'm supposed to be right now. Even in him going to Lestat later on, like, he didn't stay with Lestat. He went on by his life. Like, I think he was just past all that at that moment.
Yeah, I think the betrayal of Armand to Louis, processing that in real time allowed him to give him grace of life. Because sometimes I don't feel the anger all the way yet, or I'm so blowed by the truth of this of this lie that I cannot exert the energy needed to destroy you how you deserve to be destroyed.
Yeah.
And I think out of mutual love and respect, I will not kill you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you should never cross my path again.
Never again.
You're dead to me.
Never.
I think Lestat didn't have enough strength to save Claudia in the end, but would do anything to save Louis. Facts.
Absolutely. Because I think he would have if he could, obviously.
But how powerful would it? How
Ooh.
powerful would it be if Lestat and Armand teamed up against the Theatre des Vampires?
I mean, yeah. Like,
Where was all that?
where was that energy?
That's all they had to do. And yes, they are strong. I mean, it's more of them. And Santiago by himself is a feat. And then you have the other coven members who apparently collectively join their powers to impact someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Your Valentine. Hey, oh, they wouldn't have stood a chance. And by that time, because I think Claudia healed up a little bit because she was walking on them busted legs.
She did.
I have my speech and I'm coming to the middle of the stage. So by the time, who knows if they could have all made it out, right? If Armand and Lestat would have went up against the coven.
If they would have got rid of those judges, because obviously the collection of them was what was hindering, Louis and Claudia. If they could have took them out first, with some kind of something that they could have did, I think they would have obviously been able to overtake them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby said, "Oh, that team up would have been nasty work." Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see because Armand was nasty this whole season.
He was.
How he flexed his powers. He shut them down at this part. If you could shut down the entire restaurant, and these are your subjects and the staff,
mm-hmm.
you should be able to do that in the middle of this trial while Lestat does the rest.
Yeah,
get them out of here.
He wasn't for it.
That's why I know he's fake as hell.
He's
That's how you
super
know that.
fake.
Yeah,
that's why he's trash.
Yeah, and Armand, I'm so sorry. And Mondius, whatever they called him.
Right.
Your Valentine. Also, I'll be the lone Armand defense attorney. My client is not innocent, but he is sexy as hell. No, that equals innocent.
No, it does not. It does not. It does not. Have you seen? Oh my God, it's all over like TikTok. Well, it's more like the book talk side because I cross over sometimes. But there's some guy. He is. I admit he's kind of fine, but he's like 6 foot something tall. He's a white dude. He got this slick back like hair covered in tattoos, and he on trial for murdering a bunch of women. And they're talking about how fine he is and trying to, like, oh, he's innocent. Da, da, da. No, he's a murderer, is what he is.
My man. I'm gonna stand beside him. I'm gonna stand beside him. He killed all these people. Fine. That's fine.
But yeah.
That man is fine. Oh no, that Nazi ill. No, I can't.
Oh, so you know who I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
They is losing their minds.
If you know his name, put it in there so I can look him up. But no, it's a chop.
He crazy. No, you don't want to see it.
I've been writing notes in our conversation to try to save, but I get so excited and emotional. There's a phrase that I live by that's called "There's always beauty in the ashes." So in the torn down and destructive moments in life, and when storms all around and things are so awful for you, there's always a moment where there's beauty of it. There's beauty that comes from it. And I think about the hurricane in the final moments of this episode and how they were having this beautiful moment in the midst of all this chaos.
Yes.
And for those who are watching, if you ever felt like that, just know that life gets better and life is fine. You are loved and seen, and in the midst of horrible things, and there's always beauty in the ashes. And we saw that.
That scene was so good.
Oh my God.
Like they were embracing, if y'all haven't watched, I'm sorry, I'm gonna spoil it, but they were embracing and just basically the shit was collapsing around them almost. It was just so beautiful. And it obviously was a moment of acceptance for Louis, a moment of forgiveness for Lestat. Like it was just ugh, beauty, like you said, in the ashes.
Everybody was in tears. I wasn't in tears, but they're tear worthy. I've been in almost in tears in this conversation, but seeing Lestat, because Lestat is smug and he covers up his emotions with sarcasm and wit. And for him to have that conversation with Louis about what he's been experiencing the last 50 years after Claudia, I'm telling you, when he said he keeps seeing her head, her picture, her face, that broke me almost because he's dealing with that guilt. Now pair that emotion with that scene when he was in the court, he made that man feel what it feels like to be lonely, and pair that with all that with being a vampire. Why wouldn't I jump into the sun?
Yes, that was such a powerful exchange, a powerful exchange of emotion from both of them.
Yeah,
but I think it was a little bit more for Lestat because, like you said, of how he's been presented to us over the course of the show. And so, him realizing like Claudia looked to me to be her father in that moment. And I haven't been a father. I was just like,
that broke Lestat in that moment. Yeah.
Yes. That was so
It was heavy.
So heavy. Yes. And obviously the point when I told you earlier about him realizing that Louis wanted to put himself in the sun. Like,
did you hurt yourself? Like, did you hurt yourself?
Don't stop, TaMon. His eyes. I was just like too through.
These are fictional characters and fictional situations, but it's so real. It's so real when you get to like the emotion behind these moments. It's so real, and the scene work, character work in this moment, in directing and acting, like there's ups and lows. Like if Lestat is here on his emotion, Louis can't be up there too. So Louis has to be here to balance Lestat and vice versa. And you saw that quickly in those moments because Lestat was very vulnerable and Louis was just like, yeah, I hear you, I feel you, I see you. And then Louis would be vulnerable and Lestat would take it in, not matching him, but being in that moment present with him, allowing his time. The balance between the two is just ridiculous. And this is a masterclass in writing, y'all. This and directing and character work. And
master class.
It's a master class. I want to see these scripts. I want to see the Bible for this show. I want them to go over the story arcs for this show and how we're going to convey them. If you're interested in writing, directing, hell, acting, watch these shows, watch these performers and these writers because it's there.
Absolutely.
It's all there. She haunts the narrative. I hope they keep her at least just referencing her throughout the rest of the show. So I think we could talk about what happens next, right?
Yeah.
For these characters. In the books, Louis is not important, just so y'all know that. So in the books, Louis is not important. And you and I had a conversation about switching the narrative from a POC, and that has been driving the show, to Lestat, who is not. And honestly, this was the perfect handoff.
I think so.
They handled it perfectly for us to follow Lestat on the next journey. The next book after Interview with the Vampire is The Vampire Lestat. And we get to see a chronicle of his experience and his perception of what all these stories that we've had before. In the books, he even writes his own book about what happens. And this is when Daniel Malloy's book comes out. He also, per the Queen of the Damned movie, if people remember that, or have you read it, he becomes a rock star. And we got a glimpse of him preparing to go on tour in this. So they set us up perfectly. And other little things that I've been mentioning on social media, and then, of course, with you, Kristie, and Bobby, and others, that Akasha's on her way.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'm so freaking excited. Like, I don't know who they're going to have to play her, but I don't care. I'm hyped. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
We need a great actress, and she can even be new. I don't care about if it's a star or not.
Yes.
She can be whatever. But if y'all caught it, they've been hinting to Akasha a lot this season. In episode 7, we find out that Lestat mentioned that he has ancient blood running through his veins.
Yes. Akasha.
As a reader, I know what that happens, but in this episode, he literally says, "It's not his maker, but Akasha." If you know, you know. Okay.
Yeah. If you know, you
In the
know.
books, Lestat finds Akasha in her tomb, and her husband, the king of the damned, in Leo, and he is enraged by their connection in Leo. He tries to smash Lestat to death, but he is not. The king of vampires is not successful because he fed on Akasha before that. So you wonder how Lestat survived the murder against him. That's how.
Yeah. Also, before you continue on that part, Daniel Malloy is a vampire.
Now that happens. That is true. That is true.
And it was so good because I don't know, just seeing the way Daniel's always been kind of like, harsh, but seeing him in that interview, like the vampire Daniel Malloy, he's on another level.
He's swaggy. He's a jerk. Like, that's fine. I love that for him. I knew that was going to happen. But I love that for him. His book is everything. He probably wanted to gut that interviewer alive.
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Yeah, Louis randomly pops up in the books to burn Lestat's house down. They don't even get together for real for like 12 books. Yeah, they're not really a thing. So, like, hopefully he'll be his companion and the actor doesn't leave. Louis' character doesn't just disappears, but
like you said, it does seem like he kind of like handed it off because the way it ends, it seems like they just go their separate ways. He's content in his life. It just seems like we're not probably gonna get him no more.
Nah. I'm glad we're getting season 3. We need reparations from the Queen of the Damn film. Hell yeah. Aaliyah was amazing. Rest in peace. Absolutely. But that film is a hate crime. The film is trash.
It's bad, but I still watch it because I like to see
Aaliyah. I enjoyed Aaliyah in that movie. Enough Lestat.
She was just gorgeous. Like her costume design, like she's iconic. I just watch it for her. Sorry.
That's all we're there for. Bobby is excited for what's next.
Same.
Spoken like a true king. He mentioned Akasha, which I was just like a kid in the candy store. I was like, yes. Give the people what they want, and they don't even know they want it yet. And that's no shame because Lestat's book is good too. We get to see all these things. He meets up with Armand. His music is almost like a calling card for all of his lovers. And so they come to him. But as we get to meet Lestat, for those who really love like the supernatural genre, there are witches, not just the Mayfair witches. We talking about old witches that turn Akasha, that help turn Akasha. Well, they didn't turn her. They were the cause of her being turned. And they are still alive too. And they're hybrids. So they're witches and
man, there's so much they can do with this universe.
They're going to do all of it.
They handled this so well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do to continue it.
I am a fan of honoring the source material, but the liberties they are taking in this show is
honey. I'm so glad that they took liberties with this show. And like I told you when we did our Valentine's conversation with the Kings, and you brought up Lestat and Louis and their toxic relationship. I was like, I don't know about this at the beginning of the show, but I'm very glad that they went the way that they did.
For what I'm seeing online, the synopsis for season 3 is resentful of the portrayal in the trashy bestseller Interview with the Vampire. The vampire Lestat sets his story straight in the way only the vampire Lestat can. By starting a band and going on tour, Gabriel Nicholas, Magnus, Marius, those who must be kept, they join Louis Armand Malloy, Sam Barclay, Raglan, and Fareed,
Oh.
and others we can't tell you about yet, on a
Oh.
pilgrimage across space, time, and trauma. No
Oh.
auto
Okay.
tuning, no trigger warnings, all feels amplified.
So okay then.
Not
Well,
only is Louis coming back,
he's gonna be a part of the band.
Malloy is back, Fareed, the assistant, is back. My homie behind me, Armand, is coming back. He has actually his own book
I'm gonna
too.
give him the Ice Cube face.
Armand has his own book. Remember all the hate this show got when it was announced for the first time and when Jacob Anderson was casted? Yeah, we know what that's about.
It's expected.
It's yeah, but guess what he did? He came in there and blew this
He
shit
showed
out.
them how to. He showed them how to do it. Now y'all know what to do.
Come on, coming from Game of Thrones and popping over to
yes,
Interview with the Vampire and making this show something special. So season 3, we are excited for Interview with the Vampire. Next, we have the Mayfair Witches season 2. Not too much information, no synopsis about that. I'm trying to see if we got anything about the Talamasca.
I'm just so glad they renewed it because I mean nowadays everything began canceled left and right.
Yep. And do I have a problem? And me and you talked about this. Do I have a problem with Sam Reed, that's Lestat, taking the forefront of the show after the finale? I do not.
No.
I thought I would have an issue with the primary lead being a POC and shifting to someone who's not, but it's not even about that. It's about this great storytelling that they're doing, and he is going to kick ass next season.
I think so.
Louis is going to Louis is going to be such a groupie next season. And he's going to be a groupie. He's going to be Lestat. I hope Lestat is bringing the fashion next season because he was everything in Queen of the Dam.
Yes, he was. I need all the chest.
All of it. I hope we get a famous violin solo like Queen of the Dam. Absolutely.
Yes.
What are some more things in the comments that y'all look forward to seeing next season? Because we literally are ending our era and we're starting a brand new one.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, these 2 seasons is one big story.
It's crazy. And I feel like this season went by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Who do you think they should cast?
We talked about this.
I put a post on Twitter of, I don't know if I had pictures. I've said Michaela Cole, but I need to take some time to think about this.
I think I need time to.
Akasha's from Sumeria, which she can be darker of skin, or she could be the girl who played Wonder Woman. Gadot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She could be Middle Eastern, so because that's what Sumeria was. So the range of her skin complexion could be anything, which colorism is a part of casting, right? We know that.
Yes.
So I don't know where I would go with that. I will tweet some great names.
Yeah. I mean, I personally don't expect them to cast someone Black. But I mean, if they want to keep it true to, her lineage and where she's from, I think that would be ideal. And I mean, it's really difficult because in my mind, when I picture Akasha, obviously I'm going to see Aaliyah
every time.
But being true to her lineage, I think to me, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, for sure.
More leather, your Valentine's said. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to get more leather, more lace, more see-through, all of that. Switch it up. Don't kill Akasha.
I want to see her die.
I don't know if she will be. I'm sure we will get a Queen of the Dam TV show, and if so, that will be definitely probably one season.
Ooh, now I would love
Um,
to see that.
it could be two like this one. This one actually, now that I think about it, because the backstory alone before they come to
Yes.
present, we have to actually address that because Lestat's book is with Akasha. She's part of his story.
Mm-hmm.
So she may be casted for next season. She
Now
may be
that would
casted.
be dope. That would be dope.
Congratulations in advance to whatever queen gets that role.
Yes.
Um,
Well, let me go audition. I'm not like that.
let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to see you do that walk through the
I
bar.
can't do that.
um, it has been such a ride watching this season with you and everybody, and
Yeah.
really coming to love these characters. It's been a long time. You mentioned on your show, and we've talked about horror having soul. It's been a long time since there has been soul in some of these shows.
Yes.
We watch all the things from Chucky to Pretty Little Liars to anything that may come out, and
Mm-hmm.
some of these shows don't have it. This show
That's
has
right.
soul. For us to have conversation, and the emotions from us are very clear, are present,
Mm-hmm.
and in the comments they're clear. This show, I'm so glad it was renewed. Get your things for the Emmys. I'm going to continue to shout how great you are. Knoxo Spades, I'm looking forward to the queerness because of the times that people try to know the nine. Yes, that's what we're talking about
Yes.
with Brad Pitt and.
Cause that scene when Lestat came up on them soldiers, that one soldier about seeing two men, and
Let
he
me
was
tell
like,
you,
he read him like a book.
he read him like a book. He said, "What was it?" He said, "What was it?" And he's vampire. He swooshed up there real quick. That's Lestat says. I love Lestat for that because he was like,
Yes.
he said whatever the comment was, it was derogatory in the comment, and it was like 2 seconds, and he was like, "What was it?" Oh, okay, okay. I thought the bitch who was going to get discharged said something. Okay, okay. Akasha is like a nuke, though. I don't know if they will be
Yeah.
able
They're gonna
to
have to
keep
take
her alive.
her
No,
out.
because she's insane.
She crazy.
She is cray cray. Even before she turns into a vampire, she was awful. Aaliyah, that walk is so iconic and beautiful. I will tell y'all this: if they can't duplicate it, don't do it.
Yes.
Make it. I mean, they can't make it better. Don't do it. Rather,
Yeah.
I'm glad that whenever Sam Reed is asked about why the show is really queer, he's like, "It's in the book." Like what? Best response, honestly, because people get weird. They do.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise was not having it,
Mm-mm.
and Christian Slater was not having it in the '90s.
Yeah.
The '90s. It's very clear they were in a relationship in the book. Very
Mm-hmm.
Claudia's, yeah, it's very clear. And this show has expounded this universe. It surpassed the movie, and I don't need cameos from Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and all them. I just want them to acknowledge that their work has been expounded upon and made better. Kristie, final thoughts on season 2 of Interview with the Vampire.
Well, this show was amazing. I mean, top-notch performances, writing, dialogue, costume design,
Oof,
overall look, cinematography, shots from
oof,
top to bottom, left to
oof.
right. It was just amazing. I loved
Oh,
it.
pretty to me.
I mean, even compared to season 1, I feel like this season has just blown that out of the water. It's just been amazing to watch, and I'm grateful to have been able to take part in this with you, TaMon.
Me too. This season is those projects, and I like a lot. We like a lot of things, but this is one where I was like, if I had 6 months out of my life to just stop everything and be, I could be a PA. I don't have to be a writer. I just want to be
Do
around
you
this
need some
project.
coffee? I got you.
What do you need? Come on, what's up? Just to be around this project. It's just great. And I'm so excited to talk to you about it. I'm so glad the fans came out and our family came out to watch us and be a part of this conversation. Ashamed is Lilith for Akasha is Lilith for True Blood. Yes. Yes, Lilith is the first witch slash, yes, the True Blood, and Akasha is the first vampire. Akasha is Lilith. Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah, I got you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Pamela, for coming to hang out, and for
Yes,
everybody in
thank
the
you.
comments. Niece, Pamela, Valentine, your Valentine, Bobby. This Kings came out. Bobby and Mark. Thank you, everyone, for coming and hang out with us. And I mean, Bobby and Mike, excuse me. Thank you for everyone coming to hang out with us in the comments, giving us some love for all the other channels that we are not seeing your comments. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribe. Make sure you let people know about this TV show, about our shows. My name is TaMon Kane. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, and Instagram, and on Scream Kings, where we talk about all things horror all the time. We just finished a series review for Pretty Little Liars Summer School. Check that out on our page. And I'm here with the beautiful Kristie.
Thank you. You can find me at In Love with Horror, along with my usual co-host AJ, who's my husband as well, on Twitter mostly, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, obviously. YouTube is our main space where we do reviews, reactions, live discussions every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern, where depending where you are. We have a horror news live discussion. You can come hang out with us every week there.
Absolutely. One final comment. I agree. The whole reason why the queen of the damn movie was even made, no matter how bad it was because of Leah loving the Anne Rice books. R.I.P. Anne Rice and Aaliyah. AMC, world building. You're doing it. The Immortal Universe is what we're here for. We will see you for, what's that other show called? The Mayfair Witches, Talabasca, and whatever comes next. Again, like, share, subscribe, follow us on Twitter and all our places. Totally will confirm. I'm looking for you now. And Lestat. Good night.